The first decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is this: become rich as a person before you become rich financially. Now, what do I mean by being rich as a person? To me, it means you're actively trying to become the best version of yourself in every area of life. Most people only think about money, but your life is made up of so many different categories: your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual life, your emotions, your communication skills, your life experiences, your relationships, your finances, your career, your purpose, your passions, your discipline, your fighting skills, your driving skills, your leadership, your confidence, your ability to solve problems. There are so many different things that make up who you are as a person. It's kind of like the Chinese idea of yin and yang. Life is about balance. If you only focus on one area of your life and neglect everything else, eventually something starts falling apart. You might become rich financially but be unhealthy, or you might have money and but have terrible relationship, but emotionally you're still immature. The goal is to become well-rounded, because when every area of your life improves, you become a stronger person overall. I truly believe that before you become rich financially, you should become rich as a person first, because if money comes before maturity, a lot of people don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle influence. They don't know how to handle power. They don't know how to handle fame. They don't know how to handle criticism. They don't know how to stay humble. They don't know how to keep good morals. And that's why we see so many influencers and content creators today who become millionaires at 18 or 19 years old, but mentally they're still kids. They skipped a huge part of life where they were supposed to grow as people. Instead of learning discipline, responsibility, leadership, and emotional maturity, they learned that acting like a clown gets views. So that's all they know. I'm not saying every creator is like that, but we've all seen examples where people blow up overnight, get rich fast, and then completely lose themselves. For me, I don't want money to change who I am. I want to become the kind of person who can handle money before I ever have millions of dollars. My self-improvement journey really started back in 2019 when I was 16 years old. Before that, I honestly felt lazy. I wasn't really pushing myself. I knew I could do more. So I remember telling myself that my senior year of high school was going to be different. I wanted to make that year one of the best years of my life. So I started playing football again. I trained almost every day. I got into conditioning, running, swimming, combat sports, biathlons, weight training. I wanted to become physically stronger and mentally tougher. Sports taught me discipline, teamwork, leadership, how to keep showing up even when I didn't feel like it. Those experiences gave me life lessons that money can't buy. Then I got my first landscaping job. Now I was learning work ethic, how to communicate with customers, how to earn my own money, how to solve problems, how to wake up early. I also took college credit courses while still attending private high school. Weekends I went to church because I wanted to grow spiritually too. I even started trying side hustles like YouTube and content creation. I was just trying to level myself up in every area possible. Then I graduated in 2020. During the COVID era, I worked 2 full-time jobs, landscaping and Taco Bell. In 2021, I kept working, started traveling more, bought my first car, paid bills, kept training, and continued learning how the real world worked. By 2022, I was working 3 jobs while trying to build my future. I even got really sick that year and dealt with health issues that changed my life. But looking back, every single one of those experiences made me richer as a person. Not richer financially, richer mentally, richer emotionally, richer spiritually, richer in wisdom, richer in life experience. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't chase money. Go build your business, invest, start that YouTube channel, start that company, make as much money as you can. But while you're chasing financial success, don't neglect yourself. Keep learning, keep reading, take care of your health, travel, learn new skills, train your body, strengthen your mind, grow spiritually, build meaningful relationships, become someone who can actually handle the success you're praying for, because money doesn't automatically make you wise. It just reveals who you already are. So my advice is simple. Don't wait until you're older to start making money. Start young, but at the same time, mature young. Level yourself up as fast as possible. Become rich as a person while you're becoming rich financially. That way, when success finally comes, you'll actually be ready for it. And you'll be in a position to help your parents, your family, your future wife and kids, your community, and everyone around you. To me, that's what being truly rich looks like. The second decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is this: utilize your 9-to-5 jobs to your advantage while you're young. Now, I know a lot of people online love to hate on 9-to-5 jobs. They'll tell you, quit your job, never work for somebody else, escape the rat race. And don't get me wrong, if your dream is to build a business or become financially free, I completely respect that, because that's my goal too. but I think a lot of people overlook how valuable a 9 to 5 can actually be, especially when you're young. I've worked a lot of different jobs over the past 7 years. I started working when I was 16 years old back in 2019. I've worked landscaping, Taco Bell, high school cafeteria jobs, driving jobs, restaurant jobs, warehouse jobs, cleaning jobs, DoorDash, reselling, painting roads and curbs, content creation, and a bunch of other side hustles. Every single one of those jobs helped me make money. That money helped me buy my first car, pay bills, invest into my businesses, pay for my health treatments and acupuncture, help my family, travel, buy equipment for YouTube, and build the life I'm trying to create. But honestly, the money wasn't even the biggest thing I gained. The biggest thing I gained was experience. Every job taught me skills that I still use today. When I worked landscaping, I learned how to cut grass, mow lawns, trim trees, leaf blow, clean fish ponds, paint roads and curbs, operate golf carts and forklifts, and do basic agricultural work. But even more importantly, it taught me responsibility, accountability, how to wake up early, how to solve problems, how to take initiative, how to work without somebody constantly telling me what to do. Then I worked at Taco Bell during the COVID era, and that job was crazy. I was doing double shifts almost every day from around 7 in the morning until 10 at night, making about $11 an hour. Looking back, that job taught me way more than food service. It taught me customer service, communication, patience, how to stay calm under pressure, how to multitask, how to work with difficult customers, how to work hard even when it felt like nobody appreciated it. And honestly, that job made me mentally tougher. Then I worked at my old high school. I learned how to drive box trucks, work in the cafeteria, cook food, wash dishes, run buffet lines. But I also learned how to work with adults who were much older than me. I learned leadership, how to mentor younger students, how to be someone people could rely on. It almost felt like I became an uncle to some of those kids, even though I was only 19 years old. When I worked at Enterprise, I learned how the car rental industry worked. I learned about different kinds of vehicles, basic vehicle maintenance, customer interactions. And one of the biggest lessons I learned there was seeing what I didn't want to become. There were people who hated being there, people who were lazy, people who had completely given up. Seeing that motivated me to chase something bigger for myself. Every warehouse job taught me something: packing orders, fulfillment, working with machinery, time management. Restaurant jobs taught me teamwork. Cleaning jobs taught me discipline and attention to detail. Every single job added another skill to my life. That's why I never looked at a job as just a paycheck. I looked at it like getting paid to level up. Every shift was building my life experience, my communication, my confidence, my discipline, my work ethic. Those are things nobody can ever take away from you. Now, I'm not saying stay at a 9 to 5 forever. Your dream is YouTube. Go for it. If you want financial freedom, don't chase it. But while you're young, especially if you're still living with family, you don't have kids yet, and your responsibilities are lower, use those years wisely. Learn, save money, build skills, meet people, make mistakes, grow. Don't waste those years complaining about your job. Use your job as a stepping stone to the next chapter of your life. For me, I just turned 24. I'm entering a completely different phase now. I'm not 20 or 21 anymore. I'm becoming more mature. People take me more seriously now. My priorities are changing. I want to move out with my girlfriend someday, build businesses, travel more, start a family when the time is right, create something that lasts longer than just a paycheck. And I'm honestly grateful that I spent my teenage years and early 20s at working so many different jobs, because every single one of them prepared me for the life I'm trying to build today. Don't look at a 9 to 5 as the finish line. Look at it as a training ground. Use it to build the skills, discipline, and experience that will help you create the future you actually want. 3. Work hard, even when there's little to no reward. The third decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is this: learn how to work hard even when there's little to no reward. This lesson also ties into the idea of delayed gratification. Nowadays, everybody wants instant results. People want to start a business today and become rich tomorrow. People want to post one YouTube video and go viral. People want to hit the gym for 2 weeks and expect a six-pack. Life doesn't work like that. The people who make it are usually the ones who are willing to work for a long time before they ever see the reward. I remember when I worked at Taco Bell during the COVID era, I was 18 years old and I was only making $11 an hour. Then in 2021, I got my first raise. You know how much it was? 10 cents. I went from making $11 an hour to $11.10 an hour. But here's the crazy part. Almost every weekday, I'd come into work at 7 in the morning. My schedule was supposed to end around 4 p.m., but I'd stay until 10 at night doing double shifts because people kept calling out. If my manager needed somebody on my day off, I showed up. If they asked me to come in earlier, I showed up. I learned almost every position in the restaurant: drive-through, front counter, food prep, fryer, delivery orders, opening shifts, closing shifts, cleaning, taking orders outside. I wanted to to learn everything, not because someone forced me to, because that's just how I wanted to work. I remember people around my age would always ask me, bro, why are you working so hard? You're only making 11 bucks an hour. And I'd always ask them something back. What if they paid you $21 an hour instead? Would you come in on your days off? Would you work double shifts? Would you learn every position? Would you still show up early? Most of them would say, nah. And that's when I realized something. It was never about the money. Their work ethic just wasn't there, because even if you doubled their paycheck, they'd still be lazy. They'd still complain. They'd still do the bare minimum. To me, work ethic has nothing to do with how much you're getting paid. It's about the type of person you choose to become. Even if I was volunteering, I'd still work hard. If I'm staying at a hotel and my room gets messy, I'll clean up after myself, even though housekeeping gets paid to do it. Not because I have to, because I respect people, because I believe in doing things the right way. That's the kind of mindset I want to carry everywhere I go. Working hard when nobody's watching, working hard when the reward is small. That's what builds character. And the crazy thing is, that same mindset transfers into every other area of your life. Let's say you start a YouTube channel. You're probably not getting paid your first year. Your first videos might get 30 views, 50 views, 100 views. Are you still going to upload, or are you going to quit because you don't see results yet? The same thing applies if you're opening a dessert shop, an acupuncture clinic, a herb store, an e-commerce business. You're trying to become a musician, an actor, a Muay Thai coach, a yoga instructor, whatever your dream is. You're probably not going to see success overnight. Even going to the gym is delayed gratification. You're not going to look different after one workout. Learning to fight, learning an instrument, improving your communication, healing your health, building confidence. Everything worthwhile takes time. That's why I want to challenge you guys. Don't half-ass your work just because you're making $10 an hour at Walmart, McDonald's, Walgreens, or wherever you work. Be the hardest worker in the room. Show up early. Learn new skills. Take pride in what you do. Because one day, that same work ethic is going to carry over into your business, your career, your relationships, and every other area of your life. People who only work hard when the reward is big usually don't make it very far. The people who succeed are the ones who learn to give their best even when nobody's clapping for them. And trust me, that kind of work ethic will take you a lot further than any paycheck ever will. 4. Reprogram your mindset. The fourth decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is reprogramming your mindset. When you're growing up, most of your beliefs aren't even yours. They're passed down from your parents, grandparents, friends, teachers, your culture, social media, and the people around you. But once you hit around 17 or 18 years old, you need to start asking yourself, do I actually believe these things, or am I just repeating what I was taught? That's one of the biggest parts of becoming an adult. You have to self-reflect and ask yourself, is this the life I actually want? Is this mindset helping me grow? Are these beliefs taking me toward the future I want? For example, growing up, a lot of people are told there's only one path to success. Go to college, get a degree, work a 9 to 5 until you're 65 or 70, retire, and finally enjoy life. Now, I'm not saying college is bad. For many careers, it's absolutely worth it. But ask yourself, is that the only path? Back in high school, I had classmates who truly believed that college was the only way to become successful because that's what their parents taught them. And that's okay, but once you become an adult, it's your responsibility to decide what you believe. Maybe college is the right decision for you. Maybe it's business, maybe it's trades, maybe it's content creation, maybe it's real estate. The point is, think for yourself. Don't just inherit someone else's beliefs without questioning them. And honestly, your mindset is going to change throughout your life. Mine definitely has. The more jobs I worked, the more people I met, the more I traveled, the more businesses I tried, the more life I experienced, the more I realized I don't think the same way I did when I was 18. Life teaches you new lessons. Your perspectives evolve. Sometimes you'll change your opinion on money, sometimes on relationships, sometimes even on faith or your purpose in life. That's normal. Growth means you're willing to learn. I remember one of my coworkers at Taco Bell back during the pandemic. He had recently moved from the Philippines. But every time I tell him, bro, there's so many opportunities out here. You could start a business, find a better job, or try something new. He'd always say, nah, my parents told me this is the right way. As long as I work hard at Taco Bell, I'll be fine. Again, nothing wrong with working hard. I respect that. But I felt like he had a limited belief system. He never believed there could be something bigger for him because that's all he had ever been told. That's why reprogramming your mindset is so important. Sometimes your family unknowingly passes down limiting beliefs like money is evil, rich people are greedy, starting a business is too risky, you should just stay at the same job forever. Living paycheck to paycheck is normal. Maybe those beliefs made sense for someone else's life, but do they make sense for yours? Your job in your 20s is to question those beliefs and build a mindset that aligns with the life you actually want. Don't become a sheep. Think critically, learn from people, read books, travel, talk to successful people, try new things, develop your own perspective, because the mindset you build in your 20s will shape the person you become for the rest of your life. 5. Break generational trauma. The fifth decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is breaking generational trauma. This kind of connects to my last point about reprogramming your mindset. There's a saying that hurt people often hurt people, and sometimes families pass down the same unhealthy habits for generations. Your grandparents pass certain behaviors to your parents pass them to you, then if nothing changes, you'll pass them to your kids. The cycle just keeps repeating. The goal is to become the person who says it stops with me. I've seen families where grandparents struggled with alcohol, anger issues, abuse, unhealthy relationships, or always playing the victim. Then their kids grew up acting the exact same way. Then their grandkids started acting the same way too. Not because they were bad people, but because that's all they ever knew. Nobody ever broke the cycle, and generational trauma isn't just abuse. It can be fear of money, living paycheck to paycheck, poor communication, always yelling instead of talking, never expressing emotions, negative thinking, limiting beliefs, or constantly surrounding yourself with toxic people because that's what feels normal. Your 20s are the perfect time to recognize these patterns and ask yourself, do I want to carry this into my future? Because one day your kids are going to learn from you the same way you learned from your parents. If you don't heal, they'll inherit the same problems. But if you become the one who changes, your future family benefits from that too. To me, that's one of the greatest things you can do. You're not just changing your own life, you're changing the lives of the generations that come after you. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into how to break generational trauma because that's honestly a whole video by itself. If you guys want me to make a separate video on that topic, let me know. But just remember this, someone has to be the first person to break the cycle. Why not let that person be you? 6. Stop playing the victim. The sixth decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is to stop playing the victim. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of people, even in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, never take accountability for how their life turned out. Instead of looking in the mirror, they spend their whole lives blaming other people. I know a guy who's in his mid 60s. He always complains that he has no money, no job, and that his life didn't turn out the way he wanted. He lives off government assistance, his kids barely talk to him anymore, and even parts of his family have distanced themselves from him. But every conversation is the same. It's everyone else's fault. He never stops and asks, maybe I'm the problem, that maybe I need to work on myself. Maybe there's a reason people don't want to be around me. That thought never crosses his mind. Now, obviously, not every bad situation is your fault. Life can be unfair, but what is your responsibility is how you respond to it. Playing the victim doesn't solve anything. Taking accountability does. I also have an online friend who's around 40 years old. For years, he's talked about wanting to become a streamer, start a podcast, build an app, make YouTube videos, and create content. But after almost 8 years, nothing changed. Every time I'd ask him when he was going to start, there was always another excuse. I have work tomorrow. I gotta take the kids to school. My internet is acting up. My car's in the shop. There was always something. A couple weeks ago, I told him, bro, let's grind for like 2 hours. Let's make some Fortnite and Black Ops content. He wanted to go to sleep, and yeah, I started trolling him a little because I was frustrated. He got mad, called me names, rage quit, and left a huge paragraph in our group chat. That's when I realized something. I can't want someone's success more than they want it themselves. For years, I kept trying to motivate him, encourage him, and push him, but if someone refuses to put in the work, there's only so much you can do. So I had to set boundaries. I stopped pouring all my energy into trying to change people who didn't want to change. That was a lesson I needed to learn. If someone won't put effort into improving their own life, don't expect them to suddenly put effort into yours. At the end of the day, excuses keep you comfortable. Accountability moves you forward. Your 20s are the time to stop blaming life, stop blaming other people, and ask yourself one simple question. What can I do today to make my life better? Because the moment you stop playing the victim is the moment you start taking control of your future. 7. Stop procrastinating and do the work. The seventh decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is to stop procrastinating and just do the work. I used to be a huge procrastinator too. I'd overthink everything. I'd wait until I felt ready. I'd spend more time planning than actually taking action. Then one day I realized nothing changes until you actually start. The reason this is so important isn't just because work needs to get done. Life has deadlines. Business has deadlines. Goals have deadlines. But there's another reason. The faster you take action, the faster you get feedback. Let's say you want to start a Fortnite YouTube channel. Instead of spending 6 months thinking about it, researching, and planning every little detail, start recording, start posting. Then you'll quickly find out, is this niche something I enjoy? Are people watching these videos? Should I focus more on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or long form content? What type of videos perform the best? You won't know any of that by sitting around thinking. You'll only know by doing. The same thing applies to almost everything in life. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you're thinking about changing careers. Maybe you want to train Muay Thai or join a new gym. Maybe you want to travel somewhere. You'll never know if it's the right decision until you actually try. A lot of people spend years waiting for the perfect time, then 4 years go by. They finally take action and realize it wasn't what they expected. Now they've wasted 4 years just thinking instead of learning. Imagine if they had started 4 years earlier. Even if they failed, they would have had 4 more years to improve, learn, pivot, and come back stronger. That's how progress works. You don't figure things out by waiting. You figure them out by taking action. Whether it's your health, your business, your career, your relationships, sports, or anything else, the sooner you start, the sooner you'll learn what works and what doesn't. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. There will always be another excuse. There will always be another reason to delay. Your 20s are the time to experiment, make mistakes, learn fast, and keep moving forward, because action creates experience. Experience creates wisdom, and wisdom is what helps you build the life you actually want. 8. Take care of your health in every aspect of your life. The eighth decision that can completely change your life in your 20s is to take care of your health in every aspect of your life. And when I say health, I'm not just talking about going to the gym. I'm talking about your physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. Growing up, I played a lot of sports. I was into football, combat sports, running, swimming, and training. So I always thought I was pretty healthy. But in 2022, when I was 19 years old, life started hitting me hard. I was stressed out from working multiple jobs, trying to figure out life. And then I got a really bad stomach virus that completely changed my health. I was sick for almost 2 months. And ever since then, I've been dealing with stomach issues for the past 4 years. That experience completely changed how I looked at health. I realized that health isn't just about muscles or looking fit. It's about taking care of your entire body and mind. So I started changing my lifestyle. I cleaned up my diet. I started eating more vegetables, fruit, and healthier meals. I drank hot water every day along with honey and ginger. I started going to acupuncture every Sunday for the past few years to work on my gut, my throat, and my overall health. I started taking Chinese herbs, natural supplements, and focusing on recovery instead of just pushing through everything. I also tried things like cupping, chiropractic care, grounding, qigong, tai chi, and learning how to manage my stress better. Spiritually, I got closer to God. Emotionally, I started working on healing old trauma, protecting my energy, and not letting other people's negativity control my emotions. Because the truth is, you can have all the money in the world, but if your health is falling apart, it's hard to enjoy any of it. Your body is the vehicle that's going to carry you through your entire life. So take care of it. Build healthy habits while you're young. Eat better. Move your body. Manage your stress. Take care of your mind. Strengthen your spirit. Because when your health is strong, you'll have the energy to chase your goals, build your career, take care of your family, and enjoy the life you're working so hard to create. Cut people out of your life who aren't good for you. Another lesson I learned is that it's okay to cut people out of your life. Seriously, don't be afraid to lose friends if you realize they're not good for you anymore. Back during the COVID era in 2020, I had this group of friends that I met through my jobs. At the time, I was cool with a lot of these people and I considered some of them my friends. But as I got older, I started realizing something. A lot of the people I was friends with back then just aren't people I connect with anymore. And that's okay. People change. You change. Your goals change, your mindset changes. Sometimes you just outgrow people. For example, I had this one friend who would constantly ask me for money. I would help him out because I genuinely wanted to help. He would promise me that he was going to pay me back, but he didn't end up paying me back. And it wasn't just money. He would constantly ask me for favors, food, or other things. And I kept helping him because I didn't want to be that person who wouldn't help a friend. But eventually I started realizing, bro, you're taking advantage of my kindness. There's a difference between helping somebody because you care about them and somebody constantly taking from you because they know you're willing to help. And once I realized that, I cut him off. Because some people will mistake your kindness for weakness, and you have to learn when to stop allowing people to take advantage of you. I had another friend who was completely different, but I eventually realized that relationship wasn't good for me either. This guy just wasn't really maturing or evolving, and whenever I would talk about my goals or things I wanted to accomplish, he would sometimes get salty or jealous about it. He would even go behind my back and talk about me, and then somehow act like I was bragging just because I was talking about what I wanted to accomplish. And another thing was, whenever we would go out to eat, we would basically always end up paying for his food. He wouldn't really want to spend his his own money, but he was perfectly fine with everyone else spending theirs. He was just selfish with his money, and there were a lot of other little things that eventually started adding up. And honestly, I got tired of it. So at the end of 2023, I decided to cut him off. I even made a YouTube video talking about why I didn't really have friends anymore, and I explained some of the things that happened, and I completely forgot that he knew about my YouTube channel. He ended up seeing the video and got mad. He started talking shit about me to my cousin, and then he would randomly show up on my page and leave comments or try to talk shit to me. Then he started making fake accounts pretending to be me on YouTube. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. He would randomly pop back up every year, and even after all that time, I'm just thinking, bro, why are you still doing this? I literally cut you out of my life because I didn't want this type of drama anymore, and you're still going out of your way to create more drama. At that point, I just blocked him everywhere, and honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I just don't want people like that around me anymore. It's not even about holding grudges. I just don't want that type of energy in my life. And what's crazy is that these people were actually older than me, but sometimes they were acting like immature kids, and that's something I've learned as I've gotten older. Age doesn't automatically make somebody mature. Some people can be older than you and still have the mindset of a teenager. So don't be afraid to walk away from people just because you've known them for a long time. It doesn't matter if they're your friend. It doesn't matter if you've known them since school. And honestly, even if it's a family member, if somebody constantly brings negativity, drama, jealousy, disrespect, or takes advantage of you, you have to create boundaries, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live your life. You're the one who has to work on yourself. You're the one who has to chase your goals. You're the one who has to deal with the consequences of the people you surround yourself with. They're not going to do that work for you. So if somebody is constantly dragging you down, taking advantage of you, disrespecting you, or making you feel like you have to become a worse version of yourself just to keep them around, it's okay to let them go. Losing a friend isn't always a loss. Sometimes losing certain people is exactly what gives you the space to grow. And don't feel guilty for choosing yourself. You can wish somebody the best while still deciding that they don't belong in your life anymore. Protect your peace, protect your future, and don't be afraid to outgrow people. 10. Be self-analytical of your life. Lastly, be self-analytical of your life. Take time to actually sit down and reflect on yourself. Look at the things you're doing, look at the things you're not doing, and be honest with yourself about what you need to improve. A lot of people are really good at pointing out everybody else's problems, but they're not willing to look in the mirror and acknowledge their own. And I think that's something you have to learn how to do. For me, pretty much every day and every night, I like to think about my life and ask myself questions. What can I improve? What do I need to work on? What habits do I need to change? What am I doing that's holding me back? Maybe I need to stop overthinking so much. Maybe I need to trust God more. Maybe I need to stop worrying about things that I can't control. Maybe I need to work harder on YouTube. Maybe I need to be more disciplined. Maybe I need to take better care of myself. Whatever it is, I try to acknowledge it instead of pretending that everything's fine. And that's important because you can't improve something that you're not willing to acknowledge. If you know you have a bad habit, work on it. If you know you're wasting too much time, change it. If you know you're not putting enough effort into your goals, put in more effort. If you know you're constantly overthinking everything, learn how to let things go. And obviously, you're not going to fix everything overnight. I'm still working on myself too. I still have things I need to improve. I still make mistakes. But I think the important part is that I'm aware of them and I'm actually trying to become better, because your life isn't going to change if you keep doing the exact same things every single day. You have to be willing to look at yourself and say, okay, this is something I need to change, and then actually do something about it. Don't just self-reflect for 5 minutes, realize what you're doing wrong, and then go back to the same habits the next day. Make the change. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned as I've gotten older. You have to constantly evaluate where you are in life. Ask yourself, am I becoming the person I want to become? Am I getting closer to my goals? Am I becoming a better person? Am I taking care of my mind, my body, and my relationship with God? And if the answer is no, don't beat yourself up about it. Just acknowledge it and start making changes, because nobody is coming to live your life for you. You have to do the work. And if you can become even just a little bit better every day, imagine where you're going to be a year from now. That's why I think self-reflection is so important. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror. Be honest with yourself, acknowledge what needs to change, and then actually change it.